What happened?
Good Lord. Well, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Folk Movie Podcast, where we talk about movies that revolve around folk music exclusively. That's it. That's the show.
Never did no wondering.
Last week, as you may recall, unless you didn't watch
remember.
it, we talked about Inside Llewyn Davis, the Coen Brothers joint.
That was like 25 movies ago, man.
What? There's not even 25 movies in the world. What are you talking about?
I disagree.
And this week, I made Garrett watch last week I made Garrett watch a folk music movie. So
Would you like to start again?
For payback, to make me watch one now too that makes fun of the entire genre and everything I like. So
Why would I specifically do that?
I don't know. I was like, let's do this movie, and immediately you went, okay, well, I want to do this one. So it was a tee up the whole time. But I guess it ended up being pretty good. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing it. Garrett, what is this movie that I'm avoiding saying the title of?
It's A Mighty Wind.
What's A Mighty Wind? Aren't you inside?
Yeah.
Whatever, it's a bad bit. Move on. What the hell's A Mighty Wind?
What the hell?
What the hell?
Well, according to IMDb, it's an hour and 31-minute long comedy musical.
What about according to you?
I say that it is a mockumentary that captures the reunion of 1960s folk trio The Folksmen as they prepare for a show at the town hall to memorialize a recently deceased concert
You're just reading
promoter.
this off of IMDb, aren't you?
Huh?
That's also what IMDb says. So you have no original ideas?
I mean, the funny thing is, it's not a movie about the Folksmen. I mean, they are one of them.
Yeah.
But it's also, I don't know why I suddenly thought Mickey and Nicky. It's Mitch and Mickey.
It's Nicky Mickey.
And then
Mickey's folk review.
Mickey, can't you see? No, and then there's the New Folkestown Singers. Isn't that what the name of it is? I don't know. It's very
the New City Downtown, James Brown,
Judy Brown,
rock and roll and
review.
Butt fuckers. Huh?
Wow. Not even a minute into the.
It's more than a minute.
Nah.
Everybody's already clicked off of this.
Well. I mean, I can't argue with that.
So, why did you force me to watch this pile of garbage?
Well, first off, you haven't seen any Christopher Guest-directed movies, have you?
I have not.
Yeah, which is a shame. It's, to me, A Mighty Wind or Waiting for Guffman is kind of like really good entry points. And because he didn't direct This is Spinal Tap, that's Carl Reiner.
Right. Yeah.
I personally think Best in
Rob
Show.
Reiner, but okay, whatever.
Is it? Carl is his dad. He's the one that wrote for the Dick Van Dyke Show. Yep, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're right. Thank you for calling me out, because obviously I thought it was Ligeti, but it's Penderecki. No, this is the other way.
Ligeti?
Anyway, nothing.
It's Geddy Lee.
Geddy Lee.
Uh-huh. I thought you were going to make a joke.
I was. And I'm like, you know what? It's funnier to pretend like I'm not going to make one. Okay. So, yeah, I think Best in Show is his best one, but I think A Mighty Wind
is it the best in show?
Yeah. Was it like from the Matlock movie or TV show? It's not a movie.
No, it was me. I made it with my mouth.
Anyway, I think A Mighty Wind, it fit really well with the movie we had just done.
Sure, I mean, it's a fart joke.
Yeah, it is a fart joke.
A Mighty Wind.
No, it's not a fart joke.
It's a blowjob joke.
It's a blowjob joke.
As you said off air.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's the interesting thing about this is like you have to have a knowledge and a love for something to air quotes make fun of it this well.
Right. Yeah.
It's like the more you know about folk music or the music industry or preparing a show or any of these, I mean, it's like they have 2 weeks to get it ready, which is ridiculous. I mean, you wouldn't even be able to sell the tickets that fast, but then it's going to be broadcasted on like PBS. It's like there's or PBN.
Yeah, it's like
network or whatever.
It's like Blazing Saddles, where Mel Brooks had a good enough understanding of racism in order to make fun of it.
Wow. I was going to say Westerns, but no.
That's
You
the
went for
joke.
the R word.
That's not the R word. You want to hear the R word?
You heard it all through high school.
Who did?
Huh? You did.
What?
Jeez.
What's
You
high
gonna
school?
edit all this out, please?
No. We never said the word.
I think it's interesting because they did an interview with them on NPR, because of course they did. And Arlo Guthrie actually wanted to be in the movie, but they were like, we think this is actually going to detract from the
It would make it, yeah.
satire.
It would almost make it seem like grounded in
It would make it
world
seem
folk.
legitimate.
Yeah. I think it benefits from not having any folk people actually being in it, because then you can more like believe in the world a little bit more, almost.
Well, it's sort of like with Inside Llewyn Davis. Like, they made an album cover that was reminiscent of an actual album cover and made him like an amalgamation of actual folk things to like make the story seem legitimate, because it's things that could have or did actually happen. And I think it's kind of the same thing with this, but just done like not 10 years. What was
Yeah, it was 10 years exactly before Llewyn Davis.
okay.
2003, 2013.
For some reason I was thinking it came out in like 2012. Anyway, so I think that's interesting. Like, some of the story beats are really similar. Like, I was mentioning to you how it has the girl playing the auto harp and someone making fun of her and like
Sure, yeah.
throwing up sexual suggestions to her.
I want to play the auto harp.
Well, you should. You ought to play the mouth harp.
Yeah, you ought to play the skin flute.
You ought to play the butt trumpet.
A mighty wind.
It's interesting. You could tell that Christopher Guest was doing the voice of the couple that were in the room adjacent from Eugene Levy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So that's the thing. Like, if you were to take out, and I think we talked about this too, if you were to take out every bit of humor from this movie, it would still work story-wise.
Yeah, it would just be a much different movie.
Right. It would be a much probably sadder and more.
It'd be melodramatic. Yeah, it would it'd be awful.
Because a lot of it is sort of like what happens to people that give themselves to the music industry.
Yeah.
You know, and when the career is over, and then
I almost think there wouldn't even be a movie if you took the humor out, though, because I found almost every single second of this movie fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Even if it's in its more serious moments, I found it still had like a very unique sense of humor to it.
No, I agree. To me, it's kind of like the Tim Heidecker thing about where he goes to trial for giving out the vape pens.
Sure, that you watched and I didn't.
Yes,
I mean, shared it with you, and it's 4.5 hours long.
It's so interesting because it's like the minutia of like court proceedings and how things work, and all that is actually there.
Can you believe they're making a sequel to that?
I can, and it's going to be short though.
It's a movie. It's an actual feature film.
I think it's interesting because like it plays upon, you get more out of it the more you know about the genre. And that's the thing I like about these types of satires or parodies.
Sure.
Naked Gun. The more you know about noir and police procedurals, so much more you will get from those jokes or how they play with those things. Yeah. I mean, I know like you always talk about...
I mentioned Mel Brooks and all that as well.
Yes, but like subverting expectations, like in a bad way.
Sure.
Like, I expected this to be a good movie, but you turned in a piece of shit. Like, I just think it's interesting that it's like if they would have wrote it straight, it would have still been like one of the best of the genres. But because they took the extra step to also put in jokes and also exaggerate things and also make things more ridiculous, that's what gives it its charm and makes it stand out from everything, because you have to understand the stuff in order to make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it doesn't hurt having the three main characters from This Is Spinal Tap either.
Yeah, it gives
because
it
Harry Shearer is fantastic. I mean, obviously he does voices and stuff for The Simpsons. And has been in a ton of stuff. And then Christopher Guest, obviously, he wrote and directed, or co-wrote and directed, and then stars. And then Michael McKean, who's a
hilarious
great comedian. Yes. So
he's great. He's amazing in, it's a different change of pace, but in Better Call Saul, He is absolutely fantastic. He plays Saul's brother, and it's like night and day to some of the more silly stuff he does in this and Clue, and then you look at something like that, and he's very much an antagonist, and it's kind of it's good to see him do like fun roles. That was my first introduction to him, was through that show, and then watching him in Clue, I was like, holy shit, this guy's hilarious. And then seeing him in this, it's like even more so.
Yeah, that's the fun. My first experience with him was Laverne and Shirley.
Right.
Or he was Lenny. Because I'm old as fuck.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've never seen it. You old bastard.
In 1941 in used cars. So it's like he worked with Spielberg and Zemeckis to start his career. And he was hilarious in used cars too.
Damn.
So it's like I was completely used to him being like a comedy actor.
Right.
And so it's interesting to kind of like see him grow into.
Well, and it's the thing too where, you know, I figure comedy actors have a really, really, really easy time almost transitioning into drama, more so than vice versa. Seeing a drama actor do like amazing comedy is kind of rarer than you get like your Jim Carrey, who pulls out a serious performance, and all those kind of people, if you know what I mean.
To me, comedy is harder because comedy is almost like music, where it has everything to do with timing.
Right. So if you start in comedy, it makes it easier to go into drama.
Transition,
than back than the other way.
But of course, you know, you have people like Leslie Nielsen,
sure,
who was able to like play, or at least the good ones, he was able to play the role straight, which made it funny.
Yeah. The master of deadpan.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You know, deadpan is a type of comedy, but then you also have like so bad it's good movies, and the fact that like they're seriously trying to make what they consider to be a good film, and then it utterly fails at every level, and that's also what makes it good.
Yeah, like
so it's like it's the consistency.
Because Venom is amazing. I snuck it in somehow.
Wow.
One day we're gonna do it on the podcast. We should do a commentary track for it.
I guess.
What? It's hilarious. Hops in the lobster tank. Anyway. Venom, no!
Goodbye, Eddie.
So it's the Main Street Singers and then the new Main Street Singers. I think I said the folk something.
You said the new street folk boys.
I don't know what I said, but whatever it was wrong.
The end. Thanks for listening, everybody. Yeah, so it's good that I watched this because I found this to be absolutely hilarious, and I'm gonna visit all of Guest's movies now because of.
I would definitely say This Is Spinal Tap.
Oh, obviously,
is great. Especially the more you know about rock music, or the more
I know a lot. So.
I
didn't mean that in that way. I meant like.
No, I'm messing with it. And then to me, like I said, Best in Show, I think is their funniest, which might be setting it up to fail. I think the reason why I might like Best in Show the best is because it was so surprising.
Sure. Because
I know it was like a subject that I know basically nothing about, or did know nothing about, and had no experience.
I don't know what it's about. So it sounds like it's a dog movie.
It's a dog show. Best in Show. And I, after I watched that movie, I can now watch dog shows on TV and laugh my ass off.
Really? No.
Yes.
God. Maybe
so that's definitely. I mean, as I own this movie. Waiting for Guffman is good too, but it's like he's getting his ideas together for that type of film.
Sure.
And so I think it's maybe not as polished, because the way that he does it, and I don't know if you read about it or not, is they write, Christopher Guest and Eugene Levy are the writers of this. Mm-hmm. They will write like a skeleton outline of where they want their characters to go, what they want their characters to do, kind of like what the overarching story is. Like, okay, this guy's dad died, they're going to put on a concert for him.
Right.
You know, the folksmen are kind of like the Kingston Trio. It's like that they'll set all that stuff out.
Yeah.
And then they will film a scene And I hope they're not knocking on my door. And then it will all be. Oh shit! Why can I not think of it?
Improvise?
That's it. Why could I not think? I kept thinking something.
Because you're an idiot.
That is exactly why.
This is all improvised too.
Is they will improvise like ideas about their characters, and sometimes you can actually kind of see them thinking.
Yes.
Of like, you know,
I figured the entire movie was improvised. It looked like it felt it the entire time, which is great. Especially like when I talked about the. Oh no, I forgot my favorite bit from earlier when I was talking about it. God damn it!
the train.
That's fucking funny.
Are you talking about the colors?
No, with the hole in the middle of the record.
Yes.
That feels so like on the spot that you could almost see all three of them cracking up the entire time, and it's towards the beginning too. Like it's in the first 15 minutes, I would say. So that's where I kind of knew like, okay, this is gonna be a fucking hell of a ride, and I just like buckled up and went to town.
It's like the charisma that they have between each other, and the fact that they've actually like they seem like people that aren't just first meeting. It's like sometimes you'll watch a movie and they're like, these people have known each other for years, and it's like, okay, well, they've obviously never bonded, and they don't have any experience with each other, and so they're not playing well against each other. You know, it's one of the things that makes a good movie is like when a couple has
and like they see like a real life chemistry.
Exactly, like if a romantic movie, there's chemistry between the leads, you're like, you want them to get together. But then if there's something there, but there's a reason why they're pulled apart, then it's like, okay, well, that makes sense why they would leave each other, because there's animosity, whatever, between each other.
There's a really good example of that, actually, in a movie that released this year that we will talk about in the Best of 2019 podcast. That's a teaser.
That you meant released in 2019.
Yeah. I'm still in, it's 2019 in movie sense until like February 6th, and then we transition into 2020, by the way, just so you know.
Well, I've already seen movies from 2020, so...
Were any of them good?
Yeah.
Like feature films?
No.
Not your shorts? Exactly. Because we're in Fuck You, It's January right now.
Oh,
right?
No, but the thing is, I mean, shorts are still films.
Okay, yeah, whatever. Wow, just total silence after that. He's like, well, whatever.
I'm thinking about...
There's a really good example. Oh, yes, I forgot about that. That's a 2017 thing, you fuck.
I know, but the time that it was actually released. If you're going to use new release dates on everything else...
Yeah.
Cracker.
I don't know.
Anyway, what were you going to say?
That's fair, I'll give you that one. No, so yeah, I like it when the chemistry, you can tell they have very, very strong chemistry off screen, and it like causes everything in the movie to work way, way better because of it, which I think this movie does in spades. And then so does Booksmart, which is what I'm talking about.
I see. I still have not seen it.
I know, that's my reason effort to get you to watch it, but also because I can't just like be like, oh yeah, listen to this podcast that you won't do for 4 weeks.
Is Booksmart, that's the Olivia Wilde movie?
Yeah. You know what it is already. Why are you saying She's literally never made anything.
I know.
Okay.
She has to prove herself.
Well, she did a good job.
So you did not look up a cast list before the movie, I would imagine.
No, because every time somebody popped up, I was like, oh my god!
I know, isn't it great?
Yeah.
There's so many recognizable people in here.
Uh-huh.
Like Ed Begley Jr.
Uh-huh.
Was great as the like Norwegian guy.
Uh-huh.
The Norwegian Jew.
Where am I? I'm trying to place him. I was trying to place him in there's a show that I watched that he was a big part of.
A show that he was in?
Yeah. I was trying to place him the whole time. It felt like it was The Office, but I don't think it was.
Let me see if I can. Well, I thought I could just go to it without typing it in. Here we go.
Better Call Saul. There we go.
He's in. Everyone is in that movie, in that show. I mean.
Yeah. Well, now you haven't even seen it, bitch.
Well,
now there's two characters from this movie in that. I think there's a few other people from this movie in that too. He was in Arrested Development, but that's what I'm thinking of as Better Call Saul.
He was also in Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to just go through everything he was in? He was in CSI Miami.
No, I was waiting for you to move on. Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara are in this comedy dream team.
Well, you're going to love Best in Show then.
Oh, God. The two of them working together is just phenomenal every time. It's so funny.
To me, like seeing this movie and then watching Best in Show, you're going to notice that he uses some of the same people, and that's what's some great about it.
Yeah. Or it kind of reminds me of a more successful like Fish Called Wanda and its like spiritual successor or whatever. Which I don't even know what it's called. Ensemble cast that make multiple movies.
Oh, because they also did Fierce Creatures?
Yes, that's what it was. Because they were trying to do something similar where they would do a bunch of them and that one bombed, so they stopped.
Yeah, I mean, the bad thing is you already had some of the Pythons in it. So, But I guess they already had this is Spinal Tap. Because
R.I.P. Terry Jones.
Stop it.
Just saying. You mentioned pythons. I had to do it.
Yeah, but he wasn't in A Fish Called Wanda.
I know, but I had to do it anyway. Asshole.
Because that was Palin and Cleese.
Yeah, I know. I've seen it.
I own the Arrow Blu-ray.
I do own the Arrow Blu-ray.
I know. I mean, so do I. But
yeah, well, look at you, asshole.
Yeah, what happened to Kevin Kline, huh?
I don't know. He's basically retired.
I was like, he was in really cool, fun movies. He was kind of like
Pink Panther.
No, see, that's what I was talking about before that. Or it's like he was sort of the mysterious guy that could like get away with a lot of stuff, and it's like he did. I don't think he came out as gay. I think he did a movie where his character came out as gay.
And what? And I think it.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that tanked it.
Because the world was a bunch of assholes at that time.
Well, I'm not saying. I mean, I think it was. Is it In or Out? Is that the one? I have to look this up now.
It's gonna be a long podcast.
Well, you'll just have to edit it. No, you know what? Wild Wild West may have been the thing that killed it.
Oh yeah, that's true. That is true. The only reason Will Smith survived that is because people were used to it at that point.
Oh, I know. It's In and Out was right before that, so that might have been why. Well, okay, because he did Fierce Creatures.
Wiki Wow West.
Yeah, he did Fierce Creatures, In and Out, and then Wild Wild West. So it was just like bam, bam,
yeah,
bam.
but a triple shot that would definitely tank you.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, like at that point, you couldn't bank off of like everything else, right? He had what, Fish Called Wanda before all that, where he won his Oscar.
Well, yeah, and he was in.
Because you're not like the two Pythons and Jamie Lee Curtis. That's what I mean.
Well, he was in a Lawrence Kasdan movie called French Kiss, and I seemed like, because I was around back then, it seemed like that was a decently received movie. It might not have necessarily made a ton of money.
Sure.
And then he was in The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Right.
The Disney movie. So it's like, that was obviously fair. I mean, he was.
And he was in Beauty and the Beast, another Disney movie, the new one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucked. Who else is in this movie, you fuck?
Lots of people. Did we talk about Frank Willard? Oh, yeah. Did I say Frank?
Yeah?
I don't know why.
You're thinking Frank Welker?
No, I was looking at other things while I was talking.
Wow, you're not even focused on the podcast? I'm staring at the wall while I'm doing this.
Well, first off, it's Bob Balaban started the whole thing, which is great.
Bob Balaban?
Yeah.
Triple B?
I mean, you know who that is.
Yeah, I know.
From Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Uh-huh.
And here's a list of all the movies he's been in.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, but Fred Willard is hilarious. Because he's so over the top and he's so different than everyone else.
Yeah, he literally seems like he walked out of a different movie.
He's got those frosted spike tips.
I got a wheel wed wagon. It reminds me, I was at a swingers party the other night. A fella said to me, "I'd like to meet your wife." I said, "Your Honor."
I did not shoot the sheriff, but I did shoot the deputy. No, that's not good. I was trying to remember how he said it. Oh, Larry Miller. He's really funny, too. He was a stand-up comedian for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And he was also the teacher in 10 Things I Hate About You. No, he wasn't the teacher. He was the father.
The
girl's
woman
father.
with him is fucking hilarious.
Yes.
with the model
Jennifer
train.
Coolidge.
Yeah. They
I
didn't
know
have the
you
model
like
train,
her
they wouldn't
mostly
have had
from
the
Legally
idea
Blonde.
from the big trains.
Oh,
I haven't seen Legally Blonde.
That's okay for what it is. She was Stifler's mom in American Pie. I think that's what she's most known for. With guys.
It's just funny with the whole
The
whole
way,
bit or whatever. She's like, I got
the
a
way
small
she
idea,
holds
and
her
then
mouth and everything.
Yeah, I know. And then he takes it and makes it a big idea. And then later with the train thing, oh man, I was laughing my ass off. Almost everybody, if not everybody in this movie, just like hits it out of the park. Whatever they have to do, whatever their part is, it's like there's no weak links in the entire cast.
To me, I mean, I would imagine that's the reason the cast these types of people is like a lot of them are comedians or have worked in improv, and so it's like being able to kind of like create your own character and then like come up with things for them. It almost like they all helped write it, which is a big thing because the characters feel individual. It doesn't feel like the same person who's writing every character.
Right. Yeah, they all feel like actual people, different, with different like lives and styles. Like it's styles of comedy too, and all that. Like it's just very varied a lot. And then when it all compounds on top of each other, it just makes like for a hell of a time, especially as the movie goes on. And Eugene Levy, just in general.
I mean, that's one of the things too. Is like a lot of even a regular movie about music. Like if it doesn't already use licensed music, a lot of times the original songs are just okay.
Yeah.
But it's like it felt like every one of these songs felt like okay, I could have actually seen that being a hit.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of them are just very stupid.
Oh.
There's some of them are like the Quack Quack song in Inside Llewyn Davis, though.
I know, and that's it's like it explains why
when they're on like the farm.
Yeah,
like
they weren't great bands. They were almost like one hit wonder kind of things. I mean, because you see them like playing at like in front of a not a Ferris wheel.
Well, they're in a casino at the end.
Well, they're in a casino, but the new Main Street Singers are like in front of a roller coaster, like playing at like a little fairgrounds in Florida.
Well, I mean, the folksmen walk out and say like, "We're gonna play our hit, get it out of the way."
Yeah,
their hit, like the one hit wonders.
Yeah,
and then they go on to sing that. The chickens go cluck cluck.
Well, that was the second one.
Yeah.
That wasn't their hit. Their hit was the
I know. Fuck God.
I'm going to argue with you about what their best song was. Well, I mean, that's the funny thing is they didn't plan or tell the other bands what their set list was going to be, so the song they're going to open with ended up getting taken.
I thought that the second song that the Main Street Singers or whatever sung, I thought that Mitch and Mickey were going to be like, that's our song, and they were going to do the joke again. But we were going to do that one. But it seemed like they were the only ones with, like, actual, like, songs. I don't know. You know what I mean?
I do.
What are you laughing at?
Nothing.
Okay.
There's a kiss at the end of the rainbow. How did you like Eugene Levy's character?
I said like 5 minutes ago. I was like, as the movie went on, everything was hilarious with Eugene Levy, especially towards like the end and shit.
The thing, like the way he opens his eyes and says the sentences for like a month after this movie, I would talk just like him. To be funny.
I just love when he goes to find the rose and he's like walking into the store
and looking at the postcards. And,
yeah.
It was really hard to find the right rose.
I got back into poetry. I just wait for ideas. Sometimes they come much faster than I can write them. He's like sitting on his bed looking off in the distance.
What about O'Hara's husband who like had her write a jingle for incontinence?
That's why I was at one point I was like, can't tell if this movie hates folk or if it loves it. But then by the end of it, I knew kind of what we already talked about, but because there was so much stuff with like, oh my God, some of this music is just awful, but in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think like the Mitch and Mickey song. I don't even know what it's called. You were just singing it. Is probably the best song in the movie. I don't know. It was the one that was nominated for an Oscar, but like, I could actually see it being an actual like hit back then. Mighty Wind was pretty good too, but I don't know. What do you think, asshole?
No, to me, I mean, the Spinal Tap songs are really catchy too.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the guys are really good songwriters, which is actually hilarious. I mean, it's like when you think of like parody songs, it's kind of like Weird Al, and then that's it.
Yeah.
But it's like Christopher Guest and his crew do a really fantastic job with coming up with songs that sound like they would be real songs, but then either have something really funny in them or the lyrics are completely ridiculous or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
I think that takes a lot of talent to do that.
Well, yeah, because it's one thing to write a good song; it's another to write a good song that's also, I don't know, funny. It's again, right. I think it comes from the satire thing. It's for the same reason the movie is good, because they have a very strong understanding of the genre, and thus they can play with it and make fun of it in the right ways, so that it doesn't feel like it's like it hates it. Like I was saying, like it feels like it's very much coming from a place of love. So they understand folk music, obviously, and more specifically, I think more poppy folk music. Not like the depressing stuff in Inside Llewyn Davis, but more of like the upbeat stuff that came shortly after that time period. So they can write the songs well because, well, they just have a good understanding of the music, real life music from back then, which then allows them to make fun of it in certain ways, like making a ridiculous song about a bunch of farm animals.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's the interesting thing. It's like when you make a movie and you're like, this was a hit song at one point. If they don't write it correctly, you're like, you don't believe it. You're like, that would have never been a hit song. That's why it's like A Star Is Born. They chose Lady Gaga because she actually knew how to write a hit song.
Yeah, and then they just have a bunch of bangers in that movie for the same reason.
Yeah, Gosh.
And now I'm gonna go hang myself. BRB.
Wow, spoilers for that movie.
It's so old. Not only that one, but like the actual one, like the originals.
Yeah.
At least he didn't run into the fucking ocean.
That's so stupid.
Hanging yourself makes way more sense. I'm just gonna run into the water.
Oh, another one that's like that, Eddie and the Cruisers.
I haven't seen that.
I want to say they either got Bruce Springsteen or one of the people that wrote for Springsteen to write the song for Eddie and the Cruisers. It's like that's the reason why all of his songs are memorable in that movie.
Eddie and the Cruisers.
No.
Yeah.
You've never seen that, have you?
Nope. I just literally just said that. You fuck. Does he die at the end?
You're so easy.
Does he die at the end of Eddie and the Cruisers? Because Eddie and the Cruisers 2 is called Eddie Lives.
I know. I know. They really, like, having things in the future like that really suck for movies.
Or the movie could just be called, like, Jason Dies at the
end. No, I mean, you mean John dies at the end.
They both start with J's. All people that start with J's are the same.
So I really liked Eddie and the Cruisers when I was little. I haven't watched it in a little while. I do own the Blu-ray from Shout Factory, but anyway, that's
Spaghetti and the Bruisers.
Is the whole thing was about this guy who like rocketed to stardom, and then something happened, and everyone thought that he died, and so it was like a tragedy. Right. But the movie actually did so well at the box office. They're like, well, this sucks. We have this property, but we killed off the main character. So then they came back in the sequel and acted like it was like a Jim Morrison Doors type thing, where it's like everyone thought that he faked his death and just moved off somewhere because the fame got to him, and so that's what they turned it into.
Jeepers.
Yeah. So it's kind of like it's laughable in the fact of like, why did you do this for the sequel? But at the same time, it's like kind of funny because it's like they did the idea everyone joked about doing or saying was reality, and then they did it, and you're like, oh yeah, that's the reason why it's a bad idea. But I still Like I said, I haven't seen it in a while, but I still remember liking it, or I still remember the movie. So
Right.
it's not all bad, man.
Potatoes in the paddy wagon.
Put the potatoes in the paddy wagon.
Get the paddy wagon. Get 'em,
Paddy
boys.
Why did I say paddy wagon? That was in Signs. Mel Gibson said that.
There's a song in this movie called "Potatoes in the Paddy Wagon."
No, there's not. No, you
Oh.
you completely are making stuff up now.
All right, fair enough.
The chicken goes cluck and the cow goes moo.
Oh no. The horse goes. "Moo." And I want everybody on this side of the theater starting at that man with the big shirt to be. I swear to God, I saw Gary Shandling in the front row in one shot.
Oh,
I swear to God.
I mean, it could have been.
I thought it was like a Joe Walsh Blues Brothers thing, where it's like, there he is.
There he is.
Well, there it is.
Can you hear all that going on? It's like somebody's like jumping around with a trash can or something.
No.
Okay. Pretend like I didn't say
What
anything.
about the lady in the front row that's just fucking digging it?
Oh, yeah, the daughter.
The biggest. Oh, it is the daughter, eh? Okay.
Yeah,
I think
she's
the
sitting next to her
biggest
brother
Coke
that
fan of the
is
entire
stone
world.
cold face the entire time.
Yeah.
That's the like I like that because it's like the one brother was like a businessman and wanted to do something for his dad. The other one was like the maniac that was like just completely into everything folk and was like completely ridiculously emotional. And then the other one was the stone cold face guy that's like, I really, have you looked at the money for this? Not only do I not like folk music, but I think it costs too much.
Oh, there's actually a YouTube video called "Is This Gary Shandling in a Mighty Winds Audience?" It has 113 views.
Jeez, did you make it?
Yep, just now, and I already have.
And
that
so
many
you're
views.
plugging it on our extremely popular podcast show so that
Uh-huh.
more people will view it.
Yeah.
I knew it. Wow.
I didn't actually make it, just so everybody knows.
Well,
Well, now you can
you're
watch
sending it to me in the
Yeah.
middle of the podcast?
You send things to me all the time in the middle of the podcast. Just watch it and see what you think, because it was a point of discussion, and then you can either confirm or deny it.
All right, I'm going to have to blow it up.
It's literally 6 seconds.
Okay, the length of time has nothing to do with whether or not I can see it, fuckface. That's not Gary Shandling.
Yeah, it is. You're wrong.
No.
Yeah, it is. He's right there, in the flesh, alive.
You idiot.
Wow.
It's Dwight, by the way. I know I did that joke last time.
You do it all the time, every single day. Oh,
To do then now would be retro. To do then was very nowtro.
is there a phantom in the mall?
No.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, he was. It depends on when you ask the question. If you asked the question back in like the early 90s, there was a phantom in the mall, but he actually got into a ridiculous fight on the cross beams on the ceiling and like fell to his death. So now there is not a phantom.
No. Eric,
I mean,
no.
There might be a ghost of the phantom now in the mall, and that would be
So-
a much more interesting sequel to that if done today.
The
But I don't
ghost-
think anyone's had that.
Ghost in the Phantom, the Ghost of the Phantom of the Mall.
Yeah,
Colon
it's a Blumhouse movie.
Eric's Return.
Eric's Revenge.
Eric's Revenge. Is venge
sometimes
a word?
Yes,
It is.
'cause
Okay.
then you have to get.
I was gonna say it, because if not, revenge implies.
It's like saying, "Is gruntled a word?" People are
It's not.
disgruntled.
It's not. I don't know what you're talking about.
Sometimes I will, when I'm, in my room alone, I will recreate
Ew.
the pottery scene of Ghost.
With
That's
Eric?
a Joe Wilkinson joke.
Oh,
So funny.
what's the song from Ghost?
I don't know.
Ding, ding, ding,
I'm a
ding,
ghost.
ding. Take my breath away.
So that's not.
Yeah, what are you
That's-
talking about? Huh?
That's Top Gun.
Top who? What?
Is this the real furniture or is this the rehearsal furniture?
It's not three-dimensional. Oh, it's Unchained Melody, isn't it? Oh god.
I really don't have time to explain Stagecraft 101.
Oh my love. This is a real street lamp.
Like, yes, those are lights, and that's a ceiling above us.
The light's shaking. He whaps him in the head. Ow. Knee slapping.
So we go out there, we do the song we're known for, we get out of the way, and then, hey, here's the icing on the cake.
That's the dressing. You may call it vanilla icing, but I call it cake ranch. Well, you fuck.
We're gonna have to put saddles on those folks. Anyway, yeah.
What else
That's
you got?
probably enough for this. I don't know. I
Well,
mean, that
you want to wrap her up then? Like, what do you think about this movie?
I mean, I like it. I've always liked it. The way I came across this movie is I was walking. I know, I can't help. I was walking down the aisles of Walmart, and they had this on VHS. And it's like the colors and everything just attracted me to it. I'm like, this looks ridiculous. Oh, that's Christopher Guest. And so I bought it sight unseen. I knew nothing about the movie and watched it and thought it was hilarious.
So did you watch it on VHS when you were watching it for this?
No, I don't even
Its
I have it on
original
Blu-ray.
Oh.
No, Warner Archive came out with it on Blu-ray.
Warner Charchive?
Mm-hmm.
Your new buddy because they're releasing your favorite cartoons.
Tex Avery, baby.
Okay. That was as good of a droopy as I can get.
I don't like him.
I think we should end the show.
Yeah,
really
I mean,
bad.
like I said, I had seen Spinal Tap, and I was aware of who the people were.
Spinal Schmap.
I had seen Best in Show.
Kinal Cap.
Yes.
Rhino Rap.
That's the reason why you have to blind watch things.
Rob
Because you
Reiner
never know
Rap.
when you might find something really funny and interesting and cool, and it become a really great movie for
Yep. I've had a lot of that recently.
you.
Well, that's the show, everybody.
We don't want people to reach for their remotes. It's public television. They don't have remotes.
And I liked this movie too. I'm glad that I watched it. It was a nice change of pace for the folk music movie, I guess, after coming off of Inside Llewyn Davis. It's a good, like, tension reliever almost, while kind of remaining in the same, not only genre, but, like, atmosphere, world. I don't know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's because, again, like you were talking about, if you took the humor out, it'd be kind of a sad story. So at the end of the day, it's not like jumping from a really serious, sad movie to a really, really funny movie. It's kind of like it decrescendos almost. And then you end with like a triumphant final concert, and it was a good 1-2 punch. So good choice.
Yay.
You fucker. Well,
be sure to join us next week when I talk about how Jack Reacher is the modern great so bad it's good movie.
Is it?
I fucking laughed my ass off.
Well, I guess I should revisit it then.
I'm so glad I bought it in 4K.
Jesus, you bought it in 4K? You didn't even watch it in 4K.
I know. Well, I don't have a 4K TV.
That's because you're a hooker.
You are a hooker.
If you were a hooker, you'd have a 4K TV.
That's a really good reference to the Jack Reacher scene.
Oh, God.
If you had to think,
we're not doing Jack Reacher.
If you had to think of one auto parts store, like the auto parts store, which one would it be? And they pull up and it's called Default Auto Parts.
Car store.
It's so stupid.
What do you want to do next week? Do we have anything planned?
Yeah, I mean, because I'm not ready to do the best of yet.
No, not at all. I need to at least see Uncut Gems, if not more.
What the fuck's it in? Concepts?
Schedule.
Oh, the very last one. Meh. Well, I mean, I picked Mighty Wind, Mighty Wind. So,
You're gonna
you pick.
pawn it off on me?
Well,
God.
I mean, we've been going back and forth with ever since December.
Yeah, except when you picked like 2 in a row.
When did I pick 2 in a row?
Was there something between Phantom? Oh, yeah, Dunkirk. It says right there.
I was like, are you not looking? It's literally been me, you, me.
Ah, well, I didn't think about anything. So, I'm looking around like Flight of the Conchords. Freestyling. I'm freestyling. New York. There's a picture of New York. Well, join us next week when I make Garrett watch a movie.
When you make a decision, finally.
Oh my god. Well, considering 3 of the 5 movies we've done this season or whatever have been music movies, join us next week for another music movie.
Wow.
The music podcast now. Let's transition.
Ba-da-ba-da, beep up.
And if you like the show, you can follow it on Twitter at digital_podcast. You can also follow me on Twitter at Alex's Reviews and Garrett at Garrett Donardo. You can also stalk us on Letterboxd and see what we're watching on any given day by following the links in the description below.
You can also like and subscribe.
You can also like and subscribe on YouTube because that's where you are right now. I should probably leave with that.
Yeah, I was wondering why you fucking skipped it.
Because I don't care. And then ring the bell or whatever too. Hey, dong ding dong.
Somebody messaged me on Facebook.
I don't care. And we'll talk to y'all next week. When you won't talk back to us, but we'll talk and you'll listen next week. Well, you're not going to listen either.
We're kind of like God.
We'll yell into the void next week, and whether or not you choose to listen is up to you. But it'll be a movie that I probably really like, and Garrett will roast me for it, and he won't like it at all. Join us then. Okay. Bye. I didn't even type in leave in the channel. Now I got to do all that.
You could have done that. I mean, you could do it now.
What? Do I have a fucking time machine? You want me to go back and do it?
Yeah.